What's up, everybody? This is Dr. Zeb, and welcome to the Sunday morning virtual experience with the Rehab Christian Center. And I'm honored to be here with you, and certainly praying that you've had a phenomenal week. Man, let me tell you, I've had a great week. Let me just say off the bat, thank you all so much for all the birthday love that was poured out, has been poured out, continues to be poured out. I was overwhelmed. I ain't gonna lie to you. I looked up and told the kids, this is just a lot. There's a lot going on. And I was literally overwhelmed with all the love and the support that I felt during this birthday. And I can't say thank you enough, just for the outpour of love and support and encouragement, and even the gifts that you all shared with me. I am grateful. You should not take people being nice for granted. I don't take people being nice for granted. And I certainly appreciate just being well thought of. It is a blessing to be well thought of. And I'm grateful for that. And so again, I just want to say thank you to all of you, just for everything that you did for me, and everything that you, showered on me, all of you, the board, everybody. It's way too many people to literally name, because I'm going to forget somebody. It was overwhelming, just an overwhelming day, and a solid weekend. I can't say thank you enough. Listen, y'all, I got a word for you on this awesome Sunday. We're going to deal with the subject, put a demand on it. It's going to be powerful. It's one of my favorite parables in the Bible that I'm going to teach this morning. And of course, a practical way that you get. And so before we do that, I want you to go ahead and start liking this video, sharing this video, subscribing to all of our networks. We're only exclusively on Facebook and YouTube today. And so I want you to start liking this video, sharing this video, subscribing to our channels, doing all of that great stuff. We're going to walk through the networks really quickly, but I want you to help me get these numbers up quickly. I promise you, give me 60 minutes again today, and I'm going to be done and out of your way. I've got a quick but a powerful word for you, and I've got a lot of stuff that I just got to give to you that's going to bless you concerning this parable and this subject. Put a demand on it. It's a powerful word. And I'm so excited to be here. All right. So if you have not already, if you are in the chat area, regardless of the network that you're on, go ahead and say good morning. Speak to everybody. It's rude to come to church and not speak to anybody. Speak to everybody. And let's get through these networks. Facebook, good morning to you. It's good to see you virtually. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you are tuned in via Facebook, do me a favor, hit that like button. If you really like our video, our broadcast, if you really like this ministry, enjoy our ministry, hold that like button down, turn it to a love button, hit that love button. Then hit that share button, hit that @ symbol. I'm giving you a lot of demands. Hit that @ symbol and then tag 5 of your friends and tell them to jump on right now. Come on, I need you to invite somebody. Tag 5 of your friends, tell them to jump on right now. Let them know the Rehab Christian Center is live and on the air. I would greatly appreciate that. And again, just grateful for you tuning in via Facebook. Those of you that are tuned in via Facebook. YouTube, good morning to you. Those of you that are tuned in via YouTube, thank you so much for tuning in. Oftentimes, a lot of our YouTube visitors or Instagram visitors, when we are only exclusively on these networks, will come over to YouTube. So let me say also good morning to my watchers, viewers, members that are tuned in via YouTube from Instagram. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for being a part of this ministry, this broadcast. Now, you all do me a favor. If you're on YouTube, I want you to hit that like button. I want you to hit the subscribe button. If you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, you can do that. You can find us on YouTube at the Rehab CC. That's at the Rehab CC. You can find us there. So I want you to subscribe to our channel. And then I want you to hit that share button and share this video to your social media networks. Send it as a link to email to somebody who may not be on social media. Tell them to tune in right now that the Rehab Christian Center broadcast is live and on the air, and we would greatly appreciate it. Listen, we apologize for the technical challenges we had last week, but it actually worked out good. We did another replay at 11 o'clock of that particular message, and it went all the way through. And we had a lot of people reach out that said, hey, Pastor, we caught the replay. It was a powerful word. And so we really appreciate you bearing with us. Technology is the blessing and the curse of technology, frankly. When it works great, it's great. When it works bad, it's really bad. But we appreciate you all being patient with us as we continue to just navigate through the snafus that oftentimes come through social media and technology. But we appreciate your patience, and more than that, really appreciate your support. All right. Have you liked this video? Have you shared this video? Have you subscribed to our channel? If you have not done those 3 things yet, I need you to do those 3 things ASAP. All right. I need you to do those 3 things ASAP. And I promise you, you're going to be blessed. You're going to be better for it. All right. So again, like this video, share this video, regardless of the channel that you're on, the network that you're on. And we will greatly appreciate that. We want to get the numbers up, and we're going to get ready to go through our declaration. I'm excited. I've been doing declaration for several months now, and it's been great. It's been really great. And I'm going to work with the staff to start reinfusing people back on to do the declaration. But it's been great leading us there. And I certainly hope that you take the declaration seriously. Again, it's more than what you say having power. There is power in your tongue and your words, but you got to say it like you mean it. And when you say it like you mean it, it really happens, right? In other words, your energy, your spirit has to really connect with your words. It's no different than somebody telling you they love you, but they say it like they don't mean it, right? And if they say that like they don't mean it, it has no effect. And so as you say the declaration, you want to say it in a way that really speaks to what you believe concerning your life. And if you do that, I'm here to tell you, these things that we declare will certainly become a part of your reality and your everyday living. And we believe that. All right. So if this is your first time tuning in, welcome to the Rehab Christian Center. We always take a moment in the beginning of the broadcast to pause and go through our declaration. Our declaration makes up the 5 tenets by which our ministry stands on, how we operate as a ministry. It is what Rehab stands for. We go through those things and I read them slowly and I pause to give you time to repeat after me. So I want to give you the opportunity to repeat this declaration with me, and we're going to go through it right now. All right. Are you ready? It should be on the screen. And we want you to repeat after me. Say it with me. Restore. We declare that everything that is broken, lost, hurt, or destroyed that belongs to us and has been designed by God is restored. My faith is restored. My joy is restored. My mind is restored. Even my lost time is restored. I am no longer broken. The fact that I'm alive means I have another chance. My faith has restored me. And right now, his love is making me whole. Evangelize. Say it with me. We declare that God helped us so we can help somebody else. He loved me when I was unlovable. He changed me when I was a mess. His love lifted me when I was down. I'm not perfect, but I'm free. And anything that came for me can't keep me. Because I'm free, my circle is next. My family is saved. My friends are blessed. My plans are successful. My goals are ahead of schedule. And anything connected to me is blessed, just like me. Hope. Say it with me. We declare that everything that is missing is not lost. In Jesus, I have hope. And this hope makes me confident. It doesn't matter what happens to me or around me. I'm going to win. My relationships are winning. My goals are winning. My family is winning. My neighbor is winning. This city will win, and my row has the victory. My past is defeated, and my future is brighter today than it was yesterday. Alternatives. Say it with me. We declare that God made us different. I'm a royal child, the light of the world, and the hope of my city. I respect the past, but I don't look like what I've been through. I love the church, and my life is balanced. I love coming to church, but I like flights, boats, and vacations. My whole life is blessed. I am the head and not the tail. I am above and not beneath. I am a lender, not a borrower. And every place I go belongs to me. Breakthrough. Say it with me. We declare that God has a breakthrough with our name on it. I have some challenges, but I am not defeated. No weapon formed against me can prosper. And I know that all things are working for my good. Things are not breaking down. They are about to break through. There is a breakthrough in my career. There is a breakthrough in my home. There is a breakthrough in my health. There is a breakthrough in my finances. I am here on purpose, for a purpose, and everything that went wrong is getting ready to turn around. Did you say that with me? Did you repeat that wherever you are? Maybe you're having brunch. Maybe you're sitting on the beach. Did you repeat that? If you did, do me a favor. I want you to type in the comments right now. It's already done. It's already done. We have been literally making the declaration since January 1 of 2021 that it's already done. Everything that you've been trusting God for concerning your life, concerning your future, your health, your business, your family, your relationships, it's already done. Those things are already in motion. God has literally already answered your prayer. You got a job, and that is you got to believe it until you see it, and you got to say it until it happens. You've got to believe it until you see it, and you got to say it until it happens. And I want you to know that everything you're trusting God for, it's already done. Come on, say it with me, y'all. It's already done. Put it in the comments. It's already done. It's already done. It's already done. I'm telling you, I'm excited. I got a powerful word for you. I can't wait to get to the word. I'm ready to get to it. Let's get into the word. After you type, it's already done. I want you to go ahead and put the topic in the comments. Put a demand on it. Come on, quickly. Put a demand on it. Good. Let's get that date out of there. Put a demand on it. Put a demand on it. I'm here to tell you that I've got a word for you today that is really going to challenge you in a special way. Put a demand on it. We are going to be coming from St. Luke chapter 13, verse 6 through 9 in the New Living Translation. That's St. Luke chapter 13, verse 6 through 9 in the New Living Translation. Put a demand on it. St. Luke chapter 13, verse 6 through 9, New Living Translation is where we'll be teaching from. And this is going to be a powerful message. I'm so tickled to be able to teach it to you, and just so grateful again that you've tuned in to this broadcast with us today. I'm telling you, this is going to be a powerful word. Let's get to it. St. Luke chapter 13, verse 6 through 9, New Living Translation is where we're coming from. And let's see what it says here. All right, look at this. It says, then Jesus told this story. Verse 6, St. Luke chapter 13, verse 6. Then Jesus told this story. A man planted a fig tree in his garden and came again and again to see if there was any fruit on it, but he was always disappointed. Verse 7, finally, he said to the gardener, I've waited 3 years and there hasn't been a single fig. Cut it down. It's just taking up space in my garden. Look at verse number 8. The gardener answered, sir, give it one more chance. Leave it another year and I'll give it special attention and plenty of fertilizer. Verse 9, look at what the gardener says. If we get figs, no, the man says, if we get figs next year, I'm in verse number 9. If we get figs next year, fine. If not, then you can cut it down. If we get figs next year, fine. If not, cut it down. I want you to record this. This is the first bullet point I want you to put down right now. And I want you to record this. A large part of finding direction is what I call self-assessment. A large part of finding direction is self-assessment. What is self-assessment? Self-assessment is an honest evaluation of who you are. It's an honest evaluation of who you are. It's an honest evaluation of where you are. It's an honest evaluation of what you are all about. It's an honest evaluation of your current status in anything, right? Self-assessment, a self-assessment is an evaluation of who you are. And this is so critical to you finding direction in your life. You can never determine what's best for you if you're not honest with you about yourself. Are y'all listening to me? You can never determine what's best for you if you have never taken a moment to be honest with you about yourself. How do you know that something is good for you if you ain't been honest with you about you? How do you know that something is of value to you and is of necessity to you if you have not been honest with you about what you need, about who you are, right? And so oftentimes you see people trying to build a foundation in spaces that have not been assessed. This is so good to me. You see people trying to build a foundation in spaces that have not been assessed. And the reality is, you cannot build a foundation in anything that hasn't been assessed, because proper assessment evaluates both the strengths and the weaknesses of a thing. I'm going to say it again. A proper evaluation or assessment of anything evaluates both the strengths and the weaknesses of a thing. If you tell me you have been evaluated, what you're saying to me, or you've been assessed, what you're saying to me is that both your strengths and your weaknesses have been evaluated. If you say your work performance has been evaluated on your job, you're saying to me, or assessed on your job, you're saying to me that both your strengths and your weaknesses on that job have been evaluated, right? So oftentimes we use the word assessment and we only look at it from the perspective of what's going right. But sometimes, no, every time, you've got to consider that assessment is much larger. It's much larger than evaluating what's good or what's positive or what's strong or what's going well. Assessment also takes a look at the weak space. And I'll give you a classic example for me. And for the longest, I had this internal conflict in my approach to ministry, this conflict between preaching and teaching. If you've ever heard me live and in person, you know I can scream and holler and do all of that stuff like other people do. And that's something that I had done for years and was always just very comfortable with and always did it. But especially when I started pastoring, one of the things that I had to do was evaluate that, think about what the people needed, and start working on a weak space, which at the time was teaching, right? Because I was so used to just hooping and hollering and screaming and making folk fall out, all that stuff. I was traveling the country doing that because people like that kind of stuff. They do. Teaching, though, sometimes ain't as exciting, that make you faint as often, do all of those things. But what teaching does is teaching grows you. Teaching matures you. Teaching makes you think. And so one of the things that really enhanced the foundation of what I do well was not working on the preaching, because I had that. One of the things that has enhanced what I do in ministry is working on the weak space, because when you work on your weak hand, it inevitably makes your strong hand even stronger. Are y'all listening to me? When you work on the weak hand, it inevitably makes your strong hand even stronger, right? You withdraw some of that attention from the things you do well, and you put some of that strength towards the things you don't do well. And as a result, the things that you don't do well get better because you're giving them the proper attention. All right. And so this is a huge part of self-assessment, because when you are assessing things, you have to look at things not for what you want them to be, but you've got to look for things for what they are. I'm going to say this again. When you are assessing things, you don't look at things for what you want them to be. You have to look at things for what they are. That's a self-assessment. That's assessment in general, whether you're assessing yourself or you're assessing something else. You never look at things for what you want them to be. You have to look at things for what they are. And this is the classic segue to this text, right? Because a lot of people don't look at this text about the fig tree from a perspective of self-assessment, but I do. And the reason I do is because when you look at the story, and I don't want to get too ahead of myself, we're gonna walk through verses 6 through 9 in a very clear way. So today is one of those verse by verse days, but it's essential because I wanted to give that foundation so that it made sense. But when you look at this particular text, you'll see as we go verse by verse that ultimately the fig tree had to be assessed not for its strengths, it had to be assessed for its weaknesses. And this has implications for your life. All right, look at this, verse number 6. I'm in St. Luke chapter 13, verse number 6. All right, St. Luke chapter number 13 and verse number 6. Okay, St. Luke chapter 13, verse number 6. Look at this. All right, verse number 6 says this. Then Jesus told this story. A man planted a fig tree in his garden and came again and again to see if there was any fruit on it, but he was always disappointed. I want you to record this. We're getting ready to start swinging. You ready? Record this. You are responsible for everything you plant in your atmosphere. You are responsible for every single thing you plant in your atmosphere. Pastor, what's my atmosphere? Your life, in your circle, in the settings you hang in any spaces that are connected to you. You are responsible for everything that you plant in your atmosphere. You're responsible. Look at verse 6 again. It says, a man planted a fig tree in his garden, came again and again to see if there was any fruit on it, but was always disappointed. You're responsible for that. Anything that you plant in your atmosphere, not only are you responsible for it, here's the big thing that I want you to record. Not only are you responsible for everything that you plant in your atmosphere, you are also responsible for cultivating it, monitoring it, so that you're not disappointed. You're responsible for cultivating it, grooming it, shaping it, monitoring it, watching it, so that you're not disappointed. Why? Because it's one thing to have things planted in your life or to plant things in your life. It's another thing to plant things in your life and let those things run wild because you're not taking care of them. See, a lot of people are blessed, but you can't tell they're blessed because the things that have been planted in their life are great, but they have not been well maintained. And here's the easiest example I can give you. God can bless you with a house. You can go out here and get a huge house, but if you don't clean the house, if you don't take care of the house, if you don't monitor what's in the house, if you don't call the exterminator to come and get bugs, if you don't do all of this stuff to take care of that house, what was a blessing to you then becomes a curse to you because you didn't take care of it. And I'm here to tell you, some of you do not need to ask God to give you nothing else. You need to ask God to teach you how to take care of what he already gave you. Are y'all listening to the 1 year old man, 1 year older man? Huh? Some of you don't need to ask God to give you more. You need to ask God, hey, help me be able to better take care of what you've already given me. That's called cultivating what's been planted in your atmosphere. That's called cultivating and monitoring what has been deposited or dropped in your atmosphere as a blessing. That's what that's called. And so sometimes we gotta scale back on all this begging that we do, God. Some of us beg more than Felicia on Friday. Like we always begging for stuff. We are always begging and asking God, do this and do this and do this. And please help me with this, do this and fix this and fix. And meanwhile, he's done a lot of the stuff you've already asked for. He's done for you before. You didn't take care of it. In fact, you let it run down. You ran it through the ground. You not only ran through the ground, you poorly managed it. And so you are responsible for everything, again, that is planted in your atmosphere, right? And it's more than just looking at, well, Pastor, God gave me this, so I'm watching it. I'm looking at it. It's more than just watching it. It's called making an investment. Because see, it's more than just buying a house. Buying a house is more than signing a contract and coming up with down payment, 20% down payment, the closing costs. It's more than that. Buying a house is investing in the house. When you buy the house, you're going to always be pouring money into it. Walls going to break down. You're going to want new paint. You're going to want new carpet. You're going to want to fix the deck. You're going to want to do, and you don't realize that if you don't take care of these things and constantly maintain it and constantly invest in it, you end up having a structure that was designed to be a blessing to you that ends up running itself down because it was not properly cultivated. I want to say this. I want you to record this. This is going to make some of y'all real mad, but that's what it is. You ready? I want you to record this. Never expect growth in anything you haven't done more than just watch. I'm going to say it slow. Never expect growth in anything you haven't done more than just watch. If all you've done to things in your life that you have in your life is just watch them, don't expect them to grow. If all you've done is just watch your career instead of investing in your career, don't expect it to go. If all you've done is just watch your relationships instead of investing in relationships, don't expect them to grow. It's not going to happen. Nothing that you just watch grows. You have to make an investment. In other words, sometimes the investment is tangible. Sometimes the investment is rolling up your sleeves and going to work. But you cannot expect anything to grow that you have not invested in. The reality is many of you are blessed, but as soon as you got the blessing, you went on to the next thing and let the blessing just rot and die. And I'm here to tell you, you don't get blessed from God or even from people for you to take the blessings and not cultivate them. Because the reality is you can take a $5 blessing, and if you cultivate it, you can turn it into 50. You can take what was a small blessing, and if you cultivate it and groom it right, you can transform it into something far greater than the original value. Some of us are stuck on the value that we've had for years, not because we don't have gifts and abilities or haven't been blessed. We're stuck on the values because we still grooming the garden the same way we were grooming it when we were first blessed. Now, I was telling a musician a few years ago, was trying to hit me up about going out and playing some concerts and doing some stuff like that. And, my thing is, I play occasionally for my dad and help him out. I still can do it a little bit. I'm actually enjoying it. I wish I could get back a few full music stuff. Some of y'all are robbing these churches, playing for churches, and you can't even play it in every key. But anyway, I'm not going to get on my soapbox about musicians today. But let me tell you something. And, I don't have a problem at Rehab. We've got great musicians. But let me tell you something. You got to get out the 90s. You got to get out of 20 years ago. Some of us are living so in the past on blessings of the past. And yet we are asking God to give us more. And we didn't even cultivate fully what he gave us 10, 15, 25, 3 years ago. You have to invest in what God's blessed you with, or else you can expect it to die and not grow. All right, look at this. Verse number 7. I'm going verse by verse, y'all. All right, verse by verse. I got 3 verses, 3 more verses. St. Luke chapter 13, verse number 7. All right, look at this. It says, finally, he said to the gardener, I've waited 3 years and there hasn't been a single fig. Cut it down. It's just taking up space in the garden. I want you to record this. Are you ready? It is irresponsible to expect results from something you didn't pour into. It is irresponsible to expect results from something you didn't pour into. This is going to make y'all a little bit mad, this verse right here. It is irresponsible to expect results from something you did not pour into. I discovered that when you lack self-awareness, you make reckless decisions. I'm going to say this again because this is blessing me. When you lack self-awareness, when you don't think about you and strongly think about you in the full, honest context of who you are, not just the great. Some of us say, well, Pastor, I think about me all the time. Yeah, you only think about the wonderful, great things about you. You think about the stuff about you that sucks. You think about the parts of you that are not well, that are not strong, that need help, that need improvement. See, when we are fully self-aware, we have done a self-assessment and evaluation of who we are that includes the good, the bad, and the ugly. So the reality is when you have no real self-awareness or no real discernment, you make reckless decisions. Why? Because oftentimes you're making decisions based on things that you don't like, based on things that you don't see, based on how you feel in any given moment, instead of doing a proper evaluation of the situation. And see, this is interesting because the man owned the garden, but the gardener took care of it. This right here, man, I feel like screaming in this house. I'm gonna say it again. The man owned the garden, but the gardener took care of it. So the man who owned the garden told the gardener, look, been 3 years, man, ain't been a fig, cut it down. Why? Because he made an assessment based on limited knowledge concerning that fig tree. Can I help y'all? Have any of you ever been assessed by people based on limited knowledge? I was telling somebody that this week. It was so, in fact, I think it was on my birthday. It's so crazy how people will assess you with half the story. That's a whole word. Folk will assess you based on their limited knowledge of who you are, where you've been, what you're going through, they have no idea. An assessment that is based on half the story is a reckless assessment because you end up making reckless decisions. The man owned the garden, but the gardener is the one that took care of it. So the reality is you should never make decisions about something you never had responsibility for. You shouldn't even offer. You should be even, let me take that back. I won't say you shouldn't offer, but you should be very careful in how much advice you even offer to a situation that you had no responsibility for. See, it's easy to say what you wouldn't do in a situation if you ain't never been in it. It's easy to say how you would handle a situation if you ain't never been in it. But if you've been in a situation, it changes the lens of how you would respond in that situation, right? See, folks leaving jobs. I'm tired of this job. I can't stand this job. I can't stand this. What have you done to invest in that job? Have you done some additional training? Do you do the bare minimum? Remember we talked about that? You just do the bare minimum to get by. Yeah, Pastor, I'm tired of this church. Do you come more than just Sundays? And when you come, do you do work? Like, do you actually give and usher or do something, invite people? Do you bring people with you? Maybe you don't usher, but do you bring people with you? Do you invite people with you? Do you help and stay in the clean and help with the cleaning ministry? Do you tell people about your church? Do you market your church? Right? Yeah, Pastor, I'm tired of this relationship. Okay, what have you invested in it? Because it ain't always everybody else. Y'all don't want me to get on that. The weather's changing. It's going to be about time for a cuffing season series. I can deal with some relationships because some of y'all going to be not outside and you're going to be inside, cuddled up, booed up. I'm going to have to deal with some stuff. And y'all talking about, I'm leaving this relationship. I'm leaving this marriage. I'm leaving all this stuff. But have you, before you made that decision, I ain't telling you what to do. Before you made that decision, let me ask you one question. Have you invested in it? Because if you didn't, something's wrong. So you have more peace when you leave situations or move from situations. You have more peace when you know you have invested. Y'all don't like the way I'm talking. See, you can make decisions that aren't reckless when you've had an investment. And some of you are making pure reckless decisions because you're making them in your feelings and not according to your investment. Never make decisions in your feelings. Make decisions based on your investment. This is sound wisdom here. See, the man had waited, look at this, verse 7, the man had waited 3 years, hadn't experienced any results. So he got in his feelings. No figs, cut the tree down. Waiting on something to produce. And let me tell you something, it's a whole lot easier to sit there and fold your arms and wait on something to work than it is for you to roll your sleeves up and put in the effort and make the work. Put in the effort, put in the work to make it work. It's a whole lot easier to fold your arms and complain about your job. It's a whole lot harder to unfold your arms, roll up your sleeves and say, this is broken on my job in my office, but I'm going to do what I can to help it and to help fix it. It's a whole lot easier to fold your arms and complain about a church. It's a whole lot harder to unfold your arms, roll up your sleeves and say, what can I do to make the environment, the situation better? It's a whole lot easier to fold. Y'all get where I'm going? It's a whole lot easier to fold your arms and complain about a relationship and what they ain't doing and how they ain't making you feel. It's harder and it takes a little bit more responsibility to say, yeah, some things ain't all right. And these are some things I can do better to help with the situation. See, that's called maturity. That's called pure self-assessment. And you can't put a demand on nothing if you ain't done your part. Did y'all hear what the old man said? You can't put a demand on nothing if you ain't done your part. A whole lot of y'all demanding results from fields you've never harvested in. You're demanding results from fields that you have never worked in. And I ain't saying you can't make a demand and put a demand on something. But what I am saying is it is irresponsible to put a demand on something that you're not working in yourself. It's irresponsible to put a demand on a relationship and you have not done your part. It is irresponsible to put a demand on a ministry and you barely come. It is, y'all don't like this. It is irresponsible to put a demand on your kids and you an absent parent. You got to stop putting demands on stuff you ain't invested in. And this is where this man erred, because you putting a demand on the garden. No, don't put a demand on the garden. Talk to the gardener about what we can do to salvage it. And then that way, when we've exhausted all of the options, we can move on. Is this making sense? Look at this. Let's keep going. I'm almost done. St. Luke chapter 13, verse number 8. St. Luke chapter 13, verse number 8. I like this verse right here. This is my favorite verse of the whole parable. St. Luke chapter 13, verse number 8. I'm in the New Living Translation. I hope this is blessing somebody. Look at this. The gardener, verse 8, answered, "Sir, give it one more chance. Leave it another year, and I'll give it special attention and plenty of fertilizer." So the gardener says to the man who owns the garden, he said, "Listen, hold on. I know you want me to cut the tree down, but listen, let's give it one more chance. I'm going to give it some extra TLC. I'm going to give it some extra fertilizer. I'm going to really make sure it's cultivated so they can grow well. And then we'll go from there. Here's what I want you to record. Nothing produces like time, attention, and seed." This is so powerful. Well, the short messages be powerful. Say it again. Nothing produces like time, attention, and seed. Nothing produces like time, attention, and seed. Let me tell you something. If you want anything in your life to produce, give it time, give it attention, and give it some seed. You want your relationships to produce? Give it time, give it attention, plant some seeds in the relationship, in the person, in the people. You want your career to produce? Give it time, give it attention, invest in your knowledge, give it seed. You want your church to produce? Give it time, give it attention, which means you got to do something. Give it seed, which means you gotta give. Oh, I know y'all quiet now. See, it's crazy how this is so practical and so relevant for our lives, because many of us are cutting off stuff that we never gave time, attention, or seed. And could it be that you prematurely cut down some trees in your life that you were just tired of because they weren't moving fast enough? But the bigger problem was you never gave it time, attention, and seed. My friends, listen to me. Instead of being quick to cut stuff off, and this is the cut you off generation. You know, this generation will cut you off and then they take pride in it. You know, I love cutting people off. I be cutting folks off, whatever. This is the cut you off generation. And oftentimes for no reason, cut you off generation. But let me tell you something. Before you get so quick and hasty to cut things and people off, ask yourself this simple question. Have I given it time, attention, and seed? Let me tell you something. If you've given it time, which meant you've been patient, you've given it attention, you've made an effort, you've given it seed, you have made an investment in it, and it's still not producing, you got permission to put a demand on it. And until then, you ain't got permission or right to put a demand on nothing that you have not given time, attention, and seed to. This ought to make many of you think twice about how you move and operate in spaces when it comes to what you put a demand on, what you expect growth from, etc. Some of y'all just impatient. You don't even like to wait in line at Walmart. You be skipping line at Walmart, lying to folk. They don't do this much anymore. I always give this example because it's the one that makes sense. You know, when you go to most grocery stores, especially, they'll have that 10 item or less line. Nothing burns me up more than to be in the 10 item or less line. And I've counted my cart and I got 7 things. And the person in front of me got a whole cart full. You know why they over there? Because the line they're supposed to be in is a long line. and they don't want to wait in that line. So they get over here in the express line with those of us who have followed the rules and have less than 10 items. I can't stand it. And then they'll look back at you to see if you looking, and I don't look away. Yeah, I'm looking at you. Why are you over here in this line? Can't stand it, right? It burns, like it literally burns me up. Why? Because people are impatient. The litmus test to know whether or not it's time to move forward, to put a demand on something, to grow or do something else, is to ask yourself a simple question. Have you given it time, attention, and seed? And if you have given a thing time, attention, and seed, when you make changes, when you make adjustments, when you do different things, whatever the case may be, you find a different level of peace because you know you have given that thing time, attention, and seed. You've given it time. You've been patient, i.e. you've been patient. You've given it attention. You've invested in it. You've given it seed. You poured into it. All right. Is this making sense? Look at this. Last verse and I'm done. Verse 19. I'm sorry, verse 9. St. Luke chapter 13. Verse 9. I'm losing my place over here. I'm sorry about that. St. Luke chapter 13, verse 9. All right. New Living Translation. I hope this is blessing somebody. I told you it's going to be a quick but a powerful word. This is a powerful one right here. And there's so many life lessons here that we can take. This is really where we're going to close the gap when it comes to the demand that happens here in the text. St. Luke chapter 13, verse number 9 says this. If we get figs, this is the man who responds to the gardener who says, hold on, just let me give it attention for a lot. This is what the man says in verse 9. If we get figs next year, fine. If not, then you can cut it down. Here's the point that I want you to grab. Anything you've invested in, you can put a demand on. That's what we were trying to get to. Anything you've invested in, you can put a demand on. Oh, I'm about to shake some of y'all up real quick. Anything you've invested in, you can put a demand on. Anything you have invested in, you can put a demand on. Anything you have invested in, you can put a demand on. You can demand what you expect when you know you have invested time, attention, and seed. It should feel like I'm talking in circles. This should all be connecting and making sense. You can demand what to expect from anything if you know you have invested time, attention, and seed. When you know you have invested time, attention, and seed, it's easy for you to say, listen, either you're going to grow or we're going to do something else. I've invested time, attention, and seed into my career on this job that I've been working for 10 years, and I've been faithful and dedicated. You have a right. You've invested time, attention, and seed to say, listen, we need to see some growth here, something different or something better. Well, I'm going to have to look out and explore the market and think about another opportunity somewhere else. Relationships are no different. If you have invested time, attention, and seed in a relationship, in a person, in people, and you have invested time, attention, you've been patient, you've invested real quality things into them, you have a right. But Pastor, I don't believe in ultimatum. I didn't say it was an ultimatum, because ultimatums are either or statements. But when we're talking about putting a demand on something, we are speaking to what we have invested. You've invested time, attention, and seed into something. Yeah, you can go ahead and say, listen, I've been doing this for 3 years. I've invested this into us. These are the investments that I make. This is what I'm expecting at this point, given the 3 years and the investment of time, attention, and seed that I put into this. And either this has to get better in these areas, we got to think about something else. Oh, y'all single folk didn't like that. So the man could put a demand on his garden after he understood the importance of the investment of time, attention, and seed. This is what I'm trying to get at for all of you. And I want to say this to all of you really quickly, that in your life, there are things that you are trying to make happen. There are things that you're trying to see move in a certain direction. And these are things that, frankly, you have invested great time. I'm not talking, Pastor, I invested time. Well, how long you been on the job? 2 weeks. You talking about you invested time and you want a promotion. No, you've been there 2 weeks, man. Chill out. I'm not talking about that. What I'm saying to you is that many of you have invested significant, substantial time into things concerning your life that have produced no growth, that have produced no results. And I'm here to tell you, you better stop letting people make you feel bad when you know you've invested time, attention, and seed into something, and you place a demand on it, it didn't produce, and you moved on. Some of y'all are letting people keep you hostage and hold you hostage when they have no idea of the amount of time, attention, and seed you have invested for the same raggedy results you're receiving. And when you get in the same raggedy results, but you have invested significant time and attention and seed into something, you have a right to put a demand on it. I have invested X amount of years into this. I've invested X amount of effort into this. I've invested X amount of resources into this. I expect to see results. And if I don't see results, and I've invested significant time, we got to do something different. We got to cut the tree down. And that's what the verse is. This is the easiest way to understand this parable. And it's such a practical way to understand it because it really helps us to put into context that it's more than just chopping stuff down because it ain't working. Some of y'all, your temper is just so fast. Like you have no patience. Like you go from 0 to 100 in like 3 seconds. And I'm here to tell you, if you go from 0 to 100 in like 0.3 seconds, there's no way you are properly assessing things in your life. You cannot be properly assessing things in your life if you go from 0 to 100 in 0.3 seconds. No, you got to slow down. Take your time, invest some time, attention, and seed into the thing that isn't producing the way you desire it. And then, and only then, responsibly that is, then and only then are you positioned to put a demand on things in your life and expect them to produce a harvest. Did this bless anybody? I told you, y'all, this is a powerful word, and Pastor stayed on track. Pastor stayed on time. Did this bless anybody today? Did it? Was this blessed? If it did, I want you to fill it up with hearts. Fill up the broadcast with hearts now. Even put in the comments right now, Pastor, this really blessed me. This word was for me. I got to give things in my life more time, attention, and seed. I got to quit being so hot-headed and so quick to just storm off and stomp off because things aren't going the way I planned them and aren't going the way I imagined them. I've got to really invest my time and my attention and my seed into things in a thorough, intentional way so that I'm not hot-headed about my life and the things concerning my life, but that I make decisions in a thorough way. I can be honest with y'all. I'm sometimes very slow to make decisions. And I know I get on the church's nerve. I know I get on people's nerves that are in my life, that are close to me in my life, because you ask me something and I can have an answer right then, but sometimes I'm going to want to be sure. And I'll say, I'll get back to you. And it'll be a couple of days, a couple of weeks. I didn't forget. I'm still thinking about it, still processing it sometimes. But sometimes you got to give things time. Right? You got to give things time so that you don't make errant decisions that are premature. This man could have rooted up this fig tree and killed the whole tree because he pulled it too fast. Some of you have killed whole relationships because you pulled it too quick. You pulled the rug out from under the relationship, the friendship, the romantic relationship, whatever. You pulled it so fast. And now you got regret because you realized that all that thing really needed wasn't a breakup, wasn't a split up. It needed time. It needed attention. It needed more seed. Are y'all listening to me? So be careful not to make errant decisions. Give it time, attention, and seed, and then you can place a demand on it. Listen, this bless anybody. Do me a favor. I want you to drop your prayer request in the comments right now. You got a prayer request? I want you to know every single morning. 4:15 in the morning, I get up. I pray over your prayer requests. I pray over those things concerning your life. And I want you to know that I'm praying for you. I'm rooting for you. That all is going to indeed be well in your life. That God is going to make a way in your life as only He can. That He's going to open doors in a miraculous way. And I'm telling you, man, I'm so excited about it. I'm excited about what God's doing and how He's answering prayers. Listen, it's been a powerful week of prayer for me. It really has. And I'm certainly, I want you to know that God is still in the prayer answering, miracle working business. Do me a favor. Put your prayer request in the comments right now. If you've got a prayer request that's too confidential, that you cannot share, you can email it to info@rehabcc.org. That's info@rehabcc.org. Email your prayer request there. And I certainly would be more than happy to respond to those prayer requests. Make sure you put in the subject line, prayer requests, for the subject line prayer requests, so that those emails can be routed to me automatically and we can answer those prayer requests. But I read those prayer requests. Sometimes I respond immediately. Sometimes I give it some time so I can really digest the request and really meditate, if necessary, meditate on it. I talked Tuesday about, and let some of you know, and some of you didn't know this, I fast just about once every week. I pick a day, sometimes multiple days, and I fast because I believe that some things only come through the sacrifice of giving up things. And so some of the prayer requests that come through are so heavy and that it requires me to turn my plate down and really sacrifice and think about the needs of people. And so I want you to know I'm praying for you every morning, 4:15 in the morning. I get up. I'm praying for your prayer requests, except for weekends. And certainly this birthday weekend. Just use this weekend to really get some relaxation in. But I want you to know that I'm praying for you. I'm rooting for you. And that God's going to answer your prayer. Come on, quickly. You got 30 seconds. I want you to type in your prayer requests really, really, really fast. And I promise you, God is going to bless you in a tremendous way. All right. He's going to bless you in a tremendous way. And I'm so excited to pray for you. All right. Do me a favor. As a sign and symbol of faith, I want you to lock your hands like this, as a sign and symbol of faith, as if you are touching and agreeing with me, as if we're standing in a real building, rather, a physical building, holding hands. I want you to interlock your hands like this as a sign and symbol of faith. Let's touch and agree and get ready to pray. All right. Are you ready? Let's pray. Father, in Jesus' name, thank you for this word. Thank you for this time of sharing that you've given us. I pray, God, that something was said or done, mentioned or spoken, revealed to your people that has encouraged somebody, that has challenged somebody, maybe even convicted somebody to want to do better, to be everything that you call them to be and more. I pray, God, that this message was a blessing to your people like never before. And I ask now, God, that you would allow us to be better in the things that we give our time, attention, and seed to, so that, God, we are then positioned to place a demand on our lives and expect results to happen as only you can make them happen. Now, God, for every prayer request that's been typed on this broadcast, that has been emailed to our inbox, we speak to these requests now. We ask that you would answer the prayers of the people, that you would make ways, open doors, and meet needs as only you can. We thank you, God, for a week that will be filled with miracles, open doors, made ways, met needs, granted heart's desires, that you're going to literally open the windows of heaven, that you're going to pour out blessings, miracles, breakthroughs, unlimited, unexplainable favor in every area and aspect of the lives of your people as only you can. God, do it. Good measure, pressed down, shaking together, running over. Send people into the lives of your people to be a blessing to them because you've been good to those people. We thank you, God, because we know that you are a way maker, a miracle worker, a promise keeper. You're the literal light at the end of the tunnel of darkness. And we thank you in advance for everything that you've done. And we thank you in advance for everything that you will do. We count it done in Jesus' name. Amen. Listen, I want you to type in the comments right now. It is so. Do it quickly. It is so. It is so. It is so. If you prayed that prayer of faith with me, I want you to type in the comments right now. It is so. It is so. God is answering prayers. God's making ways. God's opening doors. God's meeting needs. God's granting heart's desires as only he can. I want you to know he is working it out. It is so. It is so. It is so. Come on, quickly. It is so. It is so. Listen, while you're doing that, do me a favor. If anybody's on the line that wants to be saved, if anybody's on the line that wants to dedicate their life to Christ, if anybody's on the line that wants to recommit their life to Christ, maybe you listen to this broadcast, you've never heard the word of God preached and taught this way. I want to challenge you right now to stop what you're doing. Put down the bacon if you're at brunch. If you're at the beach on the chair, I want you to sit up right now and take your stunners off. I want your undivided attention. Why? Because this is probably the most important part of the entire broadcast. That is, I'm going to give you an opportunity to dedicate your life to Christ. Romans 10:9 tells us that if we confess with our mouths and believe with our hearts that Jesus Christ is who he is and did what he did for us, we are saved. Salvation is a matter of confession. It's not about perfection. It's about understanding that all of us, including Dr. Zeb, have very real issues that only God can save us through. Being saved does not mean you're perfect. Being saved does not mean you mess up. Don't mess up. Being saved doesn't mean you don't have flaws or failures. Being saved means you got all of that going on, but you still acknowledge the fact that you serve a power that's greater than your flaws, that can save you in spite of your flaws. That's all it is. And so I want to challenge you today, if you want to be saved, to stop what you're doing. And I want you to pray this prayer of faith with me. I literally want you to open your mouth where you are and say this and repeat this after me. Say it. I'm a sinner. I'm not perfect. I have some flaws. And I even have some failures. But I do believe that Jesus Christ was born of a virgin, lived on this earth just like I'm living. He suffered, bled, and died on the cross. And 3 days later, rose again for my sins. Because he lives, I can live, and I am saved. My friends, if you prayed that prayer of faith, I want to welcome you to the royal family of Jesus Christ. You've made an amazing decision in giving your life to Christ. Now, do me a favor. I want you to now find you a church home somewhere that is a Bible teaching, Bible preaching, outreach ministry that teaches the word in a way that you understand, that empowers people to be better in spite of their flaws. Find you a ministry like that and go find that preacher and be a part of that ministry as churches are starting to open up. It's still remaining open. Some are starting to scale back again because of rising numbers. You find you somebody, whether it's face-to-face, virtual, or a combination of the two, and be a part of that ministry so that you can grow, so that you can develop in the faith that God is now giving you today to give your life over to him. Maybe you're tuned in and the Rehab Christian Center is the place you want to be. You're saying, hey, I've never heard anybody teach the word like this in a way that makes sense to me, that I can apply to my life. Listen, I would love for you to be a part of our growing church that is growing both in person, but also virtually as well through this virtual means that we've all had to go through and deal with. I want to challenge you. If you want to be a part of our ministry, do me a favor. In the comments, I want you to just simply type membership. Hit the hashtag and type the word membership. And one of our great moderators, faithful moderators, will see that. They'll reach out to you, get some information from you, and we would love to welcome you. That's simple. To be a part of the Rehab Christian Center, you will be able to leave today and say, I have a church home, and it's called the Rehab Christian Center, and it's the perfect place for imperfect people. I'm going to challenge you today. If you're looking for a home, I would love to be your pastor. I would love to walk alongside you in this journey called life. It's an imperfect journey. It's a lot of bumps in the road, but I would love to walk alongside you as you continue to grow and develop in your faith. All right. Make sure you do that. Our moderators will respond to you, and we'll certainly get some information from you. Really quickly, I want to challenge you to give. If this ministry has been a broadcast to you, if this message really resonated with you, I want to challenge you today to sow a seed. If you're a tither like me, we believe in tithing. If you're a tither like me, I want to challenge you to give. Sow your 10%. Sow your tithe today. Give your tithe rather today. The tithe belongs to God because it is a reflection of what he has empowered you and allowed you to make. And so we give tithes, we sow seed. So I want to challenge you to tithe today. Then I want to challenge you to turn around and give a seed. Sow a seed into this ministry. If this ministry has been a blessing to you, you can give one of three ways: via CashAPP, $REHABCCGIVE. That's CashAPP, $REHABCCGIVE. You can give through our website by visiting www.rehabcc.org. That's www.rehabcc.org, and just simply choose online giving. Again, www.rehabcc.org and choose online giving. Or you can text REHABWORKS. Text REHABWORKS, 2 words as 1 word. REHABWORKS to 88202. Text REHABWORKS to 88202 and right to your cell phone. You will see a link. Click on that link, follow the prompts, and you can give right from your cell phone. Just that simple. Again, the 3 methods of giving: CashAPP, $REHABCCGIVE. That's $REHABCCGIVE. You can get through our website by visiting www.rehabcc.org. That's www.rehabcc.org and simply choose online giving. Or you can text the word REHABWORKS, 2 words as 1 word, REHABWORKS to 88202. Text REHABWORKS to 88202 and right to your cell phone. You will see a prompt. Click on that prompt and you can give right from that prompt. And I promise you, God's going to bless you. How? Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. Listen, if I have not said thank you enough, let me say thank you to all of our supporters, members and supporters who have continued to be faithful in their giving. I understand that so many people are frustrated in this virtual environment. I get it too. Pastor has his frustrating days as well, but it takes an awful amount of discipline and commitment to continue to be faithful in your giving. And so for the handful of you that do, I want to thank you personally for continuing to give and sow into this ministry. And I want you to know that God's going to continue to bless you as only he can. Listen, y'all, I love y'all. I'm praying for y'all. I want y'all to have a fantastic week. Do me a favor, if you have not already, I want you to like this video. I want you to share this video. Share this video with at least 5 people. Tell them, listen, go back and watch this video on the power of putting a demand on things and how we're positioned to do it. This is going to bless. This message is really going to bless somebody. Just grateful, even in my inbox this week, having people from across this country reach out, and very respectable people that I respect in their ministries and their occupations and what they do, saying, hey, man, I watched the replay. That was a practical and seasoned word. Keep doing what you're doing. And you guys have no idea, especially when you receive that type of compliment from your peers and folks that are just doing far greater things that you even aspire to do. It's really encouraging to know that the word is being affected and effective to somebody. And so we thank you all for your support. Share this video, subscribe to our channels, our networks, go back and watch the replay, and then do me a favor, make plans to meet me this Tuesday, 7:08 p.m. I'm all messed up. This Tuesday, 7:08 p.m. for our virtual life study session. We've got a very powerful word that we've already been preparing for you. And we know it's going to bless you in a tremendous way. All right, y'all. I love y'all. I'm praying for you. I'm rooting for you. I want you to have a fantastic week. And I will see you on Tuesday at 7:08 p.m. for virtual life study. Love you. Praying for you. Peace and blessings.
Thank you for watching the Rehab Christian Center live experience. If this broadcast has been a blessing to you and you would like to be a blessing to our leader, Dr. Zeb Talley III, you can sow a seed into his ministry by CashAPP at $ Pastor ZT3. It is our prayer that this message of hope encouraged, enlightened, and empowered you to be better. Please tune in Tuesday at 7:08 p.m. for our life study experience. And as always, be blessed.